So it's just the K.
Yep.
Great.
Where did I put my overview though? Did not want that. Okay. Cool. The 1AC is a sales pitch for a self-help book. They'll sell you this cool new alternative way of looking at death at the low price of one of your ballots. Everyone wins. They get the W, and the people in this room get some new ways of looking at the world and death, man. But in reality, the 1AC doesn't do anything. The notion that they can change something is a form of what our authors call magical thinking. The idea that their action has any correlation to anything actually doing something, doing something recreates the same notions that are used in thoughts of magic and beliefs in these practices around the world. They believe that when you sign your ballot act proof, we'll have new social relations towards death, which creates a mode of thinking that is profoundly magical. They believe that by selling the 1AC as a self-help act, you are going to change anything. But in reality, absolutely nothing happens. It gets commodified into these systems of global capitalism at best. But at worst, you can go negative on resumption. But now I'm going to talk about the capitalism bit. At best, it gets co-opted into the systems of global capitalism. The global capitalism, or 1AC cloud and gun evidence is really good about how all it does is recreates the narcissism of bourgeoisie consciousness. I.e., they say that by them acting, they can actually do something. This is retrenched in corporatist and capitalist values because it's based on the notion that the individual actually has any power or under structures of global capitalism. But guess what? Neither you nor as the judge nor them as the debaters have any power because we're all entrenched in the capitalist system. This is also the reason why their commodification arguments don't make it about how we commodify the ballot too don't make any sense. I'll get to that later though. Get to that later though. Furthermore, James evidence indicates that it's not that when we enter into the political economy, automatically this takes away any sort of transformative potential of their speech. They can talk to you about how good and awesome it is to be neo-shamanist and all that stuff, but it's not going to do anything because of the fact that they have entered into the political economy. They have discussed this in the debate round, which means we don't care about it. All we care about is what we can do to. All we care about is the structures of the debate. We become too focused on the discourse and the magical thought we can produce. Anything rather than any sort of actual change. I'm going to find a card that I want to read. It's awkward. Yeah. Now, the role of the ballot is whoever best resists performances of corporatist ideology. Debates over education are dominated by elite firms of privileged neoliberal values. Prioritizing or interrogation of their 1AC forms complicity with the supposed common sense of neoliberalism is a valuable and necessary analytical framework. This challenges modes of communication, refavor the re-entrenchment of elite interests. Ross 10. Debates about education are frameworks that serve the interests of elites and free market neoliberals and have been successful in framing discussions in terms of market competition or framing the central narrative. They organize or framing sensitive particular issues or problems that brings residents as the common sense they see assumption that one they very much truthfully unquestioned or at least underanalyzed. And this is tried by the global economic order that relies on mass unemployment treats production as an end. They place the accumulation of wealth above the material necessities of living that abstracts finance from the valuable process of living. This means it turns the entirety of critique because we are not able to form the abstract relation to death they call for. Died or why for 1. Human know how to support the operation of the economy. The system only responds to money signals to the receiving cannot process differential like destruction back to your as order social degradation standards investment return opportunity that's operates on the basis of extremely efficient for operations of accumulation or potentially lethal to life applicants finding information transformed from this reptilian system then cascades down through a whole series of workplace and consumer information systems to constitute the operating intelligence of the world market as a whole convert the abstract value of evaluations of capital back into a series of sensuously apprehensible stories, narratives, characters, and new sources such that it seems that the world is ordered right in finding priorities global money is the real world, so that television show planet almost solely inhabited by affluent value subjects with analyzing business stock market fluctuations and constant turning the lifestyle and high side of design choices and corporatism is the cruelest form of subjugation and unfree to prefer evidence from the subcontinent on the front lines of rapacious exploitation. Marcos 97. The world's no masters have no need to govern directly. Only commodities serve very free. Not your little American way of life is extending to the planet. As a whole, we have a destruction of history and culture. The war in which no logos and against humanity is the planet war in the most worlds and most cruel I've ever seen. Now, corporatism empirically devalues life in order to justify its actions, reject their attempt to prioritize individual liberation is repugnant for all mankind. Rather than spend much serious interest in helping the senior citizens, the EPA was proposed to measure the benefits of environmental protection in terms of years of life, safe priorities to give out corporate balance to issues of the fact that it is merely reducing environmental protection because the primary direction the developing the lives of senior citizens makes perfectly good sense. Now, yeah, let's go to the line by line. The first argument that they make is that they're not going to be perceived as a commodity. I'm going to list you as many points as possible from the 2AC and 2AC speech that are going to be direct links. These are all direct quotes from the words they said in the 2AC. The first is the first quote is that the act is the first quote unquote. The act is the first step in a social change that removes the parasite to annihilate death. This is the form of magical thinking because it perceives the act as being a form of social change. I.e., voting for it is going to have some power over the battle or some sort of change in the real world. This is the notion of magical thinking that ends up the commoditization of the 1AC. The second is there was their idea that, quote, our defensive plan action serves not to enable policy making but to expose the nature of medical institutions. Once again, the idea that they expose the nature of medical institutions is the link. Yes, they might say some words in this round, but ultimately all it does is decide decide your ballot. It doesn't actually expose anything about the nature of medical institutions. The 1AC, the 1AC does nothing. All they do is attempt to sell you some commodified, co-opted shamanistic rituals. But that does not do anything. And all it does is commodify things and increase their caution. Now they say that the entire medical institution needs to shift. This is magical thing because they have the method of making the entire medical institution and shift. They have no operation of the levers of power sheets. They're not going to be able to solve. Now in Crossix, he said that they proposed a discussion of alternative medicine. But guess what? This discussion doesn't do shit about anything. The idea, yeah, I can't beat this into your head anymore. I'm probably getting repetitive. So let's read a card. I should have organized these better. Now, specifically, their images of alternative movements will specifically get co-opted into the just do it as essential of the ninth generation. This art is pretty damn amazing. Frank 97. The ways in which the 600 years is very cool, understood and agreed upon the assumption of Thomas J. We both by embracing diverse universal lifestyles, the culture ideas, hostels, and the laws around the TV, and there it is instantly beyond any drama, consumer unbound, dreadlocks and ponytails bounding into Taco Bells, outlaw soda pops, and mind-bending Gandalf shampoos. Corporate America no longer speaks in the voice of a practice order. Corporate America is not an oppressor, but a sponsor of fun, provider of lifestyle premiums, facilitator of carnival community services, long over teaching conformity about difference, the imperative and the different is the juice in the heart of American capitalism, eternal freedom from sameness and existential rebellion to become the moral side, and under the style of information age capitalism, well, so is the countercultural notion of a satisfaction in the side of no fully obsolete. Next one on the line. They say they're outside. They say they're outside the system. One, no, they're not. I did all that link where above two. Baybo's negative. He specifically thinks that their images of legalism and their images of this propose more capitalism. Bay 9. This has become a controversial topic because of any censorship of the reverse version of dissent is achieved by allowing media to co-opt all dissent to all images of underground culture, all alternative powers in the sphere of the social human relations are expressed as commodity relations or reforms beyond the possibility since partial realizations of society will be transformed into means of sustaining and enhancing the power of the commodity of greater reservation of other reform program of legalization in a world where all reform can be instantly tended to new rights and control makes no sense to go on again. Legalization will be possible and much harder to control wars and health and stable wars longer. Well, in the old days economic war increase, they take this part of the reform and legalization could be doomed to fail for deep infrastructure reasons. The social self seems to have failed. They say vague. Also, but one word, we're not a vague. We specifically said that we advocate the one rejection and two a restructuring of the social system. Now, I'm saying there's no reason to reject this team. Even if you do, you can vote. The critique ends up being a dissad. Yeah, open for cross-check. Someone else.
Fine, I'll.
Okay, first, you say that we have no power for change at all. Why vote no?
Huh?
why vote negative if we have no power for change? Why not just vote at
okay,
the
sure.
risk of solving?
Sure. And this is also our answer to your commodification argument. So if you give me a pretty good amount of time to explain. Okay, so functionally, the distinction between voting neg and voting F is that voting F has made a call to do something.
Sure.
Is your alternative not a call to do something?
Yeah.
I'm
you say try or die. I mean,
every time I've tried to explain this, I kind of been cut off. Which nothing wrong, but I'm really trying. The argument here is that we are not embracing any politics of doing something. Rather, we are saying we should reject your politics of saying that we can do something. It's the difference between, for example, saying, hey, it's the difference between an academic, which I believe we in the debate space kind of are, saying that they propose this system, which never gets entrenched.
So what's the alternative?
Hey, maybe you never do anything.
So what's the alternative? And what is the alternative?
It's a rejection of this idea.
What does that mean?
We've given specific links as to why this ideology is bad, right? This ideology that we can do something. That's sufficient to vote negative.
Okay, so
We're not saying that we do something about this by voting negative. Rather, we're saying that your notion that you do something is a bad thing.
Okay, so your amazing card. What argument does it make? It seems to just make that corporations are bad, but
It's a pretty good co-option claim.
Okay, explain the warrants.
So the card talks about how images of non-capitalist ideologies, which is probably what your Baudrillard and your neo-shamanist stuff are talking about. These images end up getting co-opted by the system. It gives some kind of silly examples, but I think they're pretty good. For example, it gives the image of hippies being used for Taco Bell advertising. While this may seem like a kind of simplistic example, it proves that even if your app does do something, all it does is get co-opted into broader power structures. I.e., your message of death is used to broadcast images.
So if the judge votes F and embraces alternative medicine, how is that not a shift individually from Western medical institutions?
How is it not a shift?
Yes. Can we not have individual change?
Right.
Is that not possible?
Right, that's the other component of the critique. It's literally called a critique of self-help for a reason. This idea that the judge can save himself and gain new enlightenment through voting F.
Where does the YC say a magic occurs in this discussion? Where we say that we just open up the opportunity for discussion, where do we claim to be a magic shift?
Right.
Not an individual discussion.
I'm not saying you create a claim to be a magical shift. I'm saying
so
you
we're not a magical
I'm
shift.
saying you result in a magical shift.
We result in a
you
magical
result
shift?
in magical thinking.
How's that? How?
You result in thinking that you can do something and make change appear out of thin air.
But you said that we're not a magical shift.
Magic.
Okay. Sorry.
Can we take half a second, Fred?
Yep.
Harry?
Yep.